In 1987, we began asking the faculty member who receives Wright State University's highest annual recognition to share a few brief thoughts with our graduates. The custom has proved quite popular and has become something of a tradition. I am therefore pleased to introduce Mr. Frederick W. Shantz, Chair of the Board of Trustees of Wright State University, who will present the 1994-95 Trustees Award for Faculty Excellence. Mr. Shantz.
The Trustees Award for Faculty Excellence was established by the trustees to recognize and encourage the accomplishments of Wright State University faculty in the areas of teaching, scholarship, and professional service. This year marks the 12th anniversary of the award, which carries a $2,500 stipend. Nominations were open in the university community, and recommendations from the Trustees' Academic Affairs Committee were forwarded to the board for consideration and final selection. I now take great pleasure in announcing the recipient of this year's award, Professor A.K.M. Islam. Will Professor Islam please come forward? In nominating him for this award, faculty colleagues describe Professor Islam as a world-class scholar, an excellent undergraduate teacher, and a leading citizen of his native Bangladesh. In 1969, Professor Islam joined the faculty of Wright State as an associate professor of anthropology after receiving his doctorate from McGill University. He became a full professor in 1977. Professor Islam has taught undergraduate and graduate courses ranging in size from 12 to over 300. He has consistently earned high ratings from his students on evaluations. Professor Islam's scholarship is truly substantial. He has authored 15 books and over 50 articles. Two of his works published in Bengali are a study of life and works of the Bengali poet Hasim Uddin and an introduction to applied anthropology. Other books cover such topics as politics and medicine. In addition, he has published articles for the Memoirs of a Bangladesh Society of New Jersey. Professor Islam's research record is equally impressive. During the last 3 years, he has been recognized as the United Nations Development Project Consultant to Bangladesh Institute of Research and Rehabilitation in Diabetes, Endocrine, and Metabolic Disorders. He has received the prestigious Fulbright Hays Fellowship twice, once for teaching and once for research. He received professional distinctions from 6 different countries and has been invited to present scholarly papers in 8 different countries. Simply put, his research and scholarship sets the pace for the Department of Sociology and Anthropology and the College of Liberal Arts. Professor Islam's service to the university and the community has been extensive. He has participated actively in a number of department, college, and university committees, been elected to life membership in the Bangla Academy, and elected to the Executive Committee of the South Asian Muslim Studies Association. Professor Islam's presence in our faculty helps establish Wright State's national reputation as an eminent metropolitan university. Because of his outstanding accomplishments in scholarship, teaching, and service, the Board of Trustees proudly bestows on Professor Islam its award for faculty excellence.
President Dr. Harley Flack, honorable members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, distinguished guests, parents, colleagues, and last but not least, our graduates of 1995. It's my great privilege to congratulate you. You are our ambassadors of the future. I have been asked to say a few words, and I believe that beginning with a personal anecdote will not be irrelevant. 26 years ago, in 1969, when I joined this fine university, my home country of origin, Bangladesh, was in a deadly struggle for survival. When the actual war of liberation began in the spring of 1971, I became determined to go there and fight as a freedom fighter. In the summer of 1971, I did go, but the Bangladesh government in exile did not view me as the warrior type. So they immediately put me to work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At one point, I was asked by the Prime Minister to go to Indonesia as the ambassador of Bangladesh. I declined the prospect of red carpeted life and fancy receptions since my heart did not agree. I returned to teaching, and I returned to Wright State University. My friends and acquaintances thought I was foolish and stupid, but my mother, who was a teacher all her life, knew better. My father and my grandparents from both paternal and maternal sides all probably blessed me at that point from heaven, since all of them had been teachers. I am an anthropologist, sometimes described as a sociologist who specialize in the study of those who are darker and shorter than themselves. As you can see, it's not true. I would have very few to study if it were. In reality, the field today differs radically from the days when anthropologists did field work among peoples in remote and exotic places. The global village is a fact, and the romantic vision of adventure among remote and untouched peoples is gone. The Pacific Island cultures once you saw in the movie South Pacific are rapidly and sadly becoming soda pop and tin can wastelands. I tell my students to look closer to home for the strangeness or similarities that we seek. I tell my students that anthropology is not only a way of viewing others, but also a way of understanding ourselves. We, as Americans, tend to know very little about the rest of the world. Only tragedies, earthquakes, floods, revolution grab our attention. On the other hand, we tend to pay attention to the most trivial news at home. In this world, we may find ourselves in an increasingly inferior position because neither history nor necessity has forced us to learn other languages or to learn about others. This is arrogance of the highest order. It is a kind of xenophobia. We tend to fear foreign. We view foreign influences as a kind of poison which should not be allowed to persist in our society.